Hello, everyone. I want to inform you, the viewer, that I'm not affiliated with any person in this video. I am doing this for education purpose only, and there's no monetary gain whatsoever. So please enjoy the video. Hi, everybody. I'm 7th Hanuman. Today, I will show you something very special. I will enlighten all of you as I will give you a glimpse into truth of Gangstalking. Please watch this video from beginning to end because you do not want to miss any of this information. And for those of you TIs out there who are inexperienced with what I'm about to show you, please take a moment and slow down your thoughts. Do your own due diligence and research before making hateful comments. This information is unlike any other in the TI community. Please stay tuned as we're almost at video 40. That's when I will show you the faces of your gang stalkers. So let's begin. I want to pause here. Take a look at the background. You see that mountain right there? Notice that mist, the grayish tint filter? That is what I call electric mist. And I will make reference to the background and how you can identify the electric mist. So I will start this documentary off with Elon Musk. He's sitting there in a round table chat. Usual, just common, normal. But now look at this. If you look at these 6 people, what do you notice? Well, if you pay attention to the guy on the left side in the middle, if you look at him, do you notice some whitish, grayish tint type of mist next to his face? I'm going to zoom in on that right here. Notice that tint on the right side of his face. You see it? This is something you want to pay attention to. And here's a photo of me from a few days last week. Notice it on my right side of my face, how that mist looking tint is there. And now this is a survivor contestant. Notice his right side of his face. Notice that whitish tint. Here's a YouTube content creator. Notice it in his background in the upper right corner. Here is another content creator. Notice above his head that mist grayish color And here it's another content creator. I want to make sure I'm showing you guys this. When I recorded this, this was in 1080p HD. And notice how dense the that mist is inside her car with her. Here's a photo of an interview. Notice behind the lady on the upper right corner, you see the same mist. Here's a YouTube content creator saying, notice the mist is all around his head. Here's another content creator. Notice the mist in the background by the window. Notice the mist inside the car of this lady. Here's another one. This one is really dense and concentrated. Look at how heavy the mist is by the light. It's very concentrated. To me, that just means there's a lot inside this room. Notice above her head, the same thing. This is a YouTube content creator, and notice the same. The mist is right behind him. And in front of him. Here's another one. Now pay attention to the car, to the light. Now, do you see it? You see the mist? Everything looks clear until a certain angle when the sun hits it. Sorry, everybody. Now this is a music video. Tadao. Notice this guy's head. Notice above him there's the same mist. So this is actually in a music video. Now here's a parking lot scene. Now this parking lot, notice how it's everywhere inside this parking lot. Here we go, another train station scene. Notice right here in front where the lights are, notice how concentrated this mist is. It's on the entire platform of this train station. Here's a video of an explorer. Now, as he walked into this abandoned building, look at this mist inside the building right here by the window. See that? I hope you're actually starting to understand. Okay, here's one of Justin Timberlake in this music video, and this mist actually moved towards his head. I remember everything that you claimed. Here's a different perspective. One that's chilling inside of a shed or outdoor storage place, barn. Um, Look at it, how it's just like chilling there. Now let's zoom in on it. And look at it. It's just hanging out. And this mist, if you zoom in even closer, look look at this photo. Look at it. It looks like there's squares and rectangles and lines. It's almost like a simulation, like a computer, uh, something that's computer and it was created. But it's just chilling there. And I see squares and lines and rectangles like stacked on top of each other. So that to me just tells me something very advanced And I believe it's us humans, we have not even reached to that level yet of understanding what's going on. And like I always tell you guys, the gang stalkers are in charge of the entire world. The gang stalkers runs all the government. And I also tell you guys, everybody's a TI because everybody can be manipulated by these gang stalkers. But don't be confused. What I'm showing you now, Electric Mist, they are not the gang stalkers. But I believe this is where that directed energy weapon attack is caused by this electric mist. Here's a night shot of my driveway of this light, and notice how concentrated this mist is. Here's a zoom in. Look at it. Look how dense that is. There's a lot of mist right there, but it's the entire space. Okay, here it's a uh, a portable that I have on this property, and I went in there one night and I decided to take some photos. And notice how the white mist is inside the portable. Looks eerie, right? Now notice how it spreads out. It looks like it's spread out across the room. Now, based on my personal experience and research, I've seen with my own eyes in footage, this mist, it looks spread out, but I've seen it come together and shape shift into a human ghost figure. And then it shape shift back into this mist and just kind of spread out. So I believe this mist can actually come together and become more concentrated, and you would actually be able to see a shape of a person if it wants to show you. Because I have seen it on my property 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Literally. Not over 10 times, but 5 to 10 times I've seen this white ghost here on my property. And let me tell you, they are fast. Why are they fast? Well, you'll see here. I'll explain to you. Now pay attention to the middle of the screen. See that flying across from right to left? See that object flying right there in the middle of the screen now? It's going really fast, covering a lot of distance. I'm going to zoom in on it. Watch. From right to left. Here we go. See how fast that thing's moving? This is during a Japanese earthquake tsunami. Now, earthquake tsunami in 2011. Now, this entity, I've seen it move very fast. And I believe it uses the wind. So it's kind of like going along with the wind. That's what I believe in. Can I prove it? No, I can't. But I know it has energy. It can go against the wind, but they don't have energy to do it consistently or constantly, but they can do it for temporarily, and or they could just go along with the wind and just let the wind take it because it's light. It's very light. So even if by me walking by it, I believe it actually just walking by it, it's enough wind for it to carry it further than ahead of me. If that make any sense. As soon as here's another very famous video during the same earthquake tsunami in Japan. And what you're about to see is exactly what I've seen on my property a few times. You see this ghost, human-shaped looking thing jump out of water, and it went up to the rooftop, and it disappeared. Now, I believe what's going on there is these mists, if they focus and concentrate and gather together, it's like combining energy, and that's what created the ability to actually go against the wind, against the water current, and just go straight up onto the rooftop to get itself out of danger. And then once it was out of danger, it spread out. So it's like no longer using their energy. You see what I'm saying? Because they use the wind to move. So all of a sudden they need to go a direction was kind of against the wind. That's when they come together and use their energy and combine energy and just to jump up. And once they get onto the roof, now they spread apart to conserve energy and just use the wind. It's like letting go of the gas pedal of your car is kind of just let it cruise so you don't burn as much gas. Same effect. And you will only step on the gas pedal again if you need to go faster. Try to pass the yellow light before it turns red. Notice how it was concentrated as soon as it jumped high enough. I think it was high enough to get to another building. It immediately separated to conserve energy. Now here's a definition of mist. So mist and fog, the only two difference are just the distance of visibility. So with mist, you can see further than fog. Look how eerie that looks. See that? The guy on the tractor. Okay, where did he go? Where's the guy on the tractor? Okay. As he's moving along, see that's the mist is around him? See, the mist is around the guy. But his perspective, his point of view would look just like this. Kind of clear. Notice how clear? But look at the mist, it's all around him. And that's not dust from the tractor. I mean, there is dust, but the mist is also there. Hey guys, so right now is 3:30 p.m. I made a video this morning at 9 a.m. and now look at these electric mist. It's still there. It's not as strong as this morning, but it's still there. See that? See that mist? You see the mist? It's been 6.5 hours. The mist is just chilling. But if you look over to the mountain, it's a lot stronger. See that? But just to remind you, it looks like it's far away, but it's not. It's all around me right now. So don't be fooled. It looks like it's in the distance, but it's not. It's actually next to me, and it's next to you. Look at that. Now, this footage, it stretched for literally 50 miles of these mists. But notice how as I'm driving into the mist, everything looks clear. But in the distance, it looks like it's you can't see anything, or you can barely see anything. But as I'm driving into it, it's clear. This footage, it was the next day. I was driving home from work. It was somewhere in the afternoon. And this day, it was very heavy. This mist was heavy. And like I always tell you guys, there's more ghosts on this planet than living humans. And they are everywhere. Now, I will show you around the globe of the electric mist. And it's there every day in plain sight. Here's a photo of Antarctica. Look in the background. Same mist. So it's from there all the way to the front of the camera. Here's Norvik, Alaska, this town. Look at the mist. It's everywhere. Here's Fraser, British Columbia, Canada. Look at the mist. Pay attention to the background. Here's another photo of a skier doing tricks. Look at the mountains. Look how dense that mist is. Here's a photo of Briheim National Park in Norway. Here's another photo from a different vantage point. And look how far this mist is. Here, these Alaskan islands. You see the mist right there where each island has. Okay, here's another photo of Antarctica with some penguins, but look at the background. Look at that mist. Here's a image in Colorado, and just pay attention to the background. Look at the mountain in the mist. Independence, California. Look on both sides of this valley. The mist is on both sides. Here's a Mesones, Muro, Peru. See that in the background? In this photo in South Africa. So it's important to also realize. I had someone made a comment about humidity, and at first I thought about that as well, humidity, and so I did some research looking into it, and I started to notice. Okay, well, higher humidity and lower humidity, like in near the equator, and higher humidity, in the North and South Pole. So I decided to look at those areas, and that's why I try to get a, a good perspective on all these different places with different humidities. And this electric mist is there. Here's the Sahara Desert in Egypt. Notice how the mist is in the background and it's not a sandstorm because look how clear the front is. And look at the background. It's mist. Here's the Yosemite National Park, California. Same thing. Electric mist. Here's a looking out from a watchtower at the Great Wall of China. And you notice the mist. Here's a zoom in view. Look at the mountains. Look at the background of these mountains. The same thing. Somewhere else in China, I believe, near the Great Wall. Strong mist. Here's Africa, Central Africa, and you see the same mist. And there's low humidity there. Here's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. High humidity. Same mist. This is somewhere in Mexico. And you see the same thing. This mist is everywhere. Here's Panama. Spokane, Washington. Here's a rope walker in Yosemite. Notice this mist is just everywhere, and it's something that people needs to pay attention to, because I know where you live, you have the same thing, but you just never pay attention to it. Look at this. It's 360 degrees everywhere. Mexico City, Mexico. Houston, Texas. Colombia. Now notice how dense this mist is. Certain location I notice have more concentrated mist. And usually these are the locations with a long history of civilization, uh, really old cultures, or places that are more um, ancient. Places like that, like even in Europe, Europe has really strong mist, because I believe Europe there's just lots of ghosts there. And so the older the location, I've noticed, the heavier the mist. And they don't just linger there; they actually migrate. They move. They can actually migrate and move. It's almost like an army of ghosts will just go into a region for maybe a day or two, who knows? And some will leave and some will stay. And they are just everywhere. There's an image in Greenland. Notice way back there in those mountains, same myths. This is a screenshot of the Gangstalking documentary from Vice News. Notice everywhere by the RV. Here's an aerial shot. Notice how far this mist reach out into the mountains. And usually, I'll tell you, from my experience, the mountains are the most haunted places. And there's Las Vegas. Look at the background. Here's another shot of Las Vegas. Look at the background. See the mist? Everywhere you go, they are there. There's no way for you to get away from it, because it's already basically it reaches every square inch of earth, I believe, even out in the ocean. Now, do you start to notice the pattern? How this is practically on every continent? And that's why I always tell you what's going on with gang stalking. It's the gang stalkers are advanced, but there's just not enough information in researching about them, because what we're experiencing, okay, some of us TIs whom are receiving voice to skull, that experience itself is the same as a paranormal medium, a psychic medium, one of those medium that can hear spirits. What they're that action, that experience alone is the same as a TI receiving voice to skull. But the difference of these two is just the ghost itself. So if a group of ghosts are nice and they're just communicating like normal, then that TI would go through the experience of more peaceful uh, elevation of just believing it's just a psychic medium. If the ghost is really bad and bully like, then the TI would start experiencing what TIs in the gang stalking community would experience, which is a lot of fear and confusion and drifting in life, basically, and attacks. So it all depends on the group of ghosts that's communicating with the target. So if us TIs, we actually have a good experience, then we would most likely don't even think of this as gang stalking. We will see it as we are enlightened people we're psychic mediums. That's what V2K is. And in one of my videos, I mentioned that we are being targeted because we can hear voice to skull. We can hear it very well. And for those of you TIs out there whom are just in the earlier stage and have not experienced or understand voice to skull, well, I already explained how to identify it in my videos. And that's just my method, and it works for me. That's how I have my experience. And most likely it will work the same for you, but I don't know if it will. But you are receiving voice to skull. But those bully gang stalking ghosts just have not revealed itself to you yet. Because by keeping you in the dark of not knowing you're receiving voice to skull, you're actually going to believe your own thoughts or all yours. Now, don't be scared, okay, if the thoughts are yours or not. All you have to do is identify if they're positive or negative thoughts. If they're negative thoughts, you're in charge, you're in control, you're in the driver's seat. You can stop those negative thoughts as soon as it comes in. And that takes practice. So if it's a positive thought that'll benefit your life and people around you, or make you do good things, make you more successful and not hurt anyone or inflict no pain to other people, then those positive thoughts, you should just let it in. Just let those thoughts, positive thoughts in. But if you're having negative thoughts, then you can practice on blocking the negative thoughts. And it's not going to just all of a sudden you're going to get good at it in a month or two. It's going to take time. It's going to take years. It's going to be a lifelong thing that you have to do. And it'll get easier. So just no fear mentality. That's the number one thing you have to remember. No fear. Okay, now, so some of you might think, oh, that is just chemtrail residue, right? All the chemtrail in the sky and how it spreads over the sky and it comes down and just chilling there, just chemtrail. And chemtrail just being blown all over the planet. Or, oh, space debris, like blowing up satellites and all that debris just falling back down onto Earth, and now just kind of all these little particles, right? All the human industry, like making products, recycling, and all the fire, a bunch of random stuff. Basically, all these human created particles stuck on this planet. I mean, that's what some of you skeptics out there would mostly use as an argument. And I thought about the same thing. And that's when I started to think about, okay, I need to research further back in time and let's see if it's there. Because if I say, if you go back in time 200 years ago, would you agree that there's no chemtrail 200 years ago? Would you agree that 200 years ago there was no industrial uh, manufacturing plant creating all these products, releasing all these like byproduct chemical into the sky, and no satellite to shoot down, so there's no space debris everywhere. So 200 years ago, would you agree that there shouldn't be chemtrail, none of these particles? So when I looked into it, and this is what I found. Now this is a photo from Ansel Adams, he's a famous photographer from Soledad, California, 1958. Notice the mist in the background in 1958. And you can tell it's the mist because of that tint. It's like a layer, like a strange grayish filter. Here's a Golden Gate before the bridge from Ansel Adams. And look in the far distance of those mountains. Look in the middle. And I'm going to zoom in. See the mist? You still see the mist on that mountain way in the distance. Here's a photo of World War II, 1945. Notice the mist in the background. So 1930s Poland, just people waiting in line. And notice the mist. It's all over the street. Here's another photo from Ansel Adams, 1930s, Owens Valley. Look in the background. Notice all that mist in the background. Here's 1920s downtown Los Angeles. Look down the street. You see the mist? It's 1920s San Diego. Look at the mountains. You see the mist? This is 1929. I believe this guy was working on a building, skyscraper in New York. Look at the mist. Here's Central Park. And look how concentrated the mist is on that day, or was on that day. It's an early 1900 photo. Look at the building in the background. Notice that layer of mist. Now we're going back into the late 1900s now. Notice the mist in the background. Here's a painting from 1955. Even the artist of this painting was able to see the mist in the background. Notice this mist right here in the middle, this filter, this grayish, bluish filter. Here's a 1938 London. Now this is actually a photo. Look at the background, the trees. See the layer of mist? Here's 1838 Boulevard du Temple in Paris, France. Look down the street. See the mist? Now, so those were the earliest photos. So what's beyond that? What's earlier than that is just drawings, paintings. And now if you look at this painting from the 1700s, this scenic painting, notice the background of the mountains, the same mist. Now I can comfortably uh, believe that during that time there was no chemtrails. During that time there was no space debris, and during that time there was no giant industrial plant making things all day long. During that time, that mist is still there. Here's a different painting, 1700s. Look at the background. See the mist in the background? Here's a classical landscape scene from Italy, 1700s. And look far in the background, the distance. Same mist. Here's another one. Look at that port. Look at the mist over the port. And notice how this artist, the way the artist painted this, notice how in the closer to the artist, it's very clear. Just like the same perspective that I was showing you, how it looks clear in front of me, but when I zoom into the distance, it was grayish tint. Same here in this painting. How clear, so this artist at the time was seeing the same thing that is clear in front of him, but in the distance, there was a grayish tint, a mist. But in reality, this mist is actually everywhere, even around the artist. Just like how in that video I was driving to work and you can see the mist very strong up ahead, but as I get to that spot, it looks clear. Same concept. Same thing in 1600s. There's 1600s in France, or the artist is 1600 France. But here's another one from the 1500s. Notice the background. That mist is still there. And these artists back then, they were able to see it with their eyes. And that's why after watching this video, when you go outside, pay attention to it. Look far into the distance. The best way to identify is when there's a backdrop, like a mountain, because that creates the contrast. But if you live somewhere, let's say, with just no mountain, just all like flat land, then it might be harder for you to see it. But if you pay attention to it, you'll start being able to identify it, because I'm sure you can see it at home in your house. If you just turn on the light tends to be able to shine through it or identify it. So if you're a true TI and you're watching this because you are dealing with gang stalking, you're gonna see this inside your home. But you just, maybe you notice it, but you don't know what it is, so you don't put much thought into it. And now, after watching this video, I hope, well, actually, I don't even hope, I already know that you will start identifying it. Because I just planted a seed into your mind. And this seed is not a bad seed, because these are facts. I'm showing you facts. I'm showing you things that you can see with your own eyes. So there's no speculation. There's no who it is, what it is, if it is. What I'm showing you are real facts that you see with your own eyes. And you have it in your home. I have it in my home. The whole world's got this. And I know it might seem kind of hard to accept the information right now for some of you, but it's okay. As long as you are getting this information, it will help you, because it'll help you click later on when you experience something else and there's just something just clicks in your head, and all of a sudden these things start making sense. And I know a lot of TIs out there, you're not as fortunate to be able to see a ghost in white on your property, because they don't really show themselves. That's why throughout the history, these ghosts are able to be under the radar, because they don't really show themselves. But here on my property, I've seen it with my own eyes. and they can move, and they can touch and grab onto things. And you just need to remember, no fear. Because if you want to defend yourself, and you want to maybe even create offensive attack on them, you are stronger because you actually have a body. They are one up on you because you don't know what they are. But now that I share with you, now all of a sudden I just given you extra defense. Because it correlates with what I'm telling you in my videos, that they are in the physical world. They're in the physical, right? The Gangstalkers are in the physical. But don't get confused. What I'm showing you right now, I don't believe they're the Gangstalkers. Even though they have the ability like the Gangstalkers. But I believe this ghost entity is being controlled by the Gangstalkers. And the Gangstalkers, I will show you in video 40. And going back to my videos of how I share, oh, you can slap your Gangstalkers, right? Yes, you can slap your Gangstalkers. And yes, if these ghosts like to show themselves, you can also slap it. They're always around you, so you can slap it. But let me tell you, they are everywhere. And they travel with you. And how do they travel with you? They anchor themselves into your clothing. You wear a shirt, you wear pants. Well, when you put that pants on, the shirt on, they're already, imagine a thin layer surrounding your whole body, and it's already coated your whole body as you put the pants on and you put your shirt on. And so they're already inside your garment, but then they're also on the outside of your garment. And one of the main spot they like to really clamp onto you is inside your lungs. So that it now imagine, like, you know how that mist, it's like air, it's like everywhere. You only saw it in the photo, right? So if you didn't see that in the photo, in the photos I show you, you probably wouldn't think anything of it. But since it's a shapeshifter, it can spread itself and come together. It's able to go into your lungs. As you inhale, it can actually go into your lungs. And as you exhale, it can actually come back out. And if you inhale with your nose, it can go up through your nostril. Or it can, if you plug both, you're wearing a mask, right? Most of us are wearing masks. You put a mask on, it can still get inside through your ears. Because in your ears, there's actually a passage to your nose. I know it's weird, but they can actually still get in through your ears, or they can just even hang out inside your ears. Yes, I know it sounds strange, and it took me over 2 years until this day. I'm still, when I talk about it, it's still out of this world. But that's just what it is. I mean, look at any insect on the ground. Aren't they kind of out of this world? When you look at an insect, I mean, when 100 years ago, we talk about flying in the sky, that just sounded like out of the world. But now we have planes, we can fly in the sky. Same goes for this. The world's been kept in the dark, and now I'm showing you a path. And this path will get broader and broader as we move forward into the future, because more people is going to be jumping onto this path and walking along it. And they are going to share their knowledge and their information, because it's just, it's almost feel like it's pre-written. Like events are pre-written, and they're going to unfold like the way they were written. Here's a photo, 1830s Germany. Look down the street. Notice the mist. So this is 1830. This is 200 years ago. Look at the mist. It's still there. And like I said, notice how clear it is in the front. See, if it's really heavy fog, you wouldn't be able to take a photo like this. Like heavy fog, you take a photo and you see the fog really up close. But notice how clear near the camera, and as you go away from the camera, you notice the mist. Now this is going to be a bonus footage I'm going to show you guys. And if you're still watching this video now, good for you. Because as a TI, you have a responsibility to spread the message around the world. And I will lead you to your goal. And you don't have to change your career, but at least the people you interact with, you can actually spread a message, a positive message, and actually let them know what's happening. Let them know why people commit suicide. I'll share something with you. I believe all suicides are not caused by the individual, but are manipulated by these spirits. Now, and I say this is because I'll tell you this. A person, do not sit there and think about how to kill themselves. A person do not sit there and then try to write a manuscript or write a what was that word, manifesto about why they want to kill themselves, and this is their last message to their family. I mean, to sit there with a piece of paper and a pen to write that out, to think that out, a person would not do this. But a person can be manipulated into doing it if there was something else telling the person. So a person watching TV is not going to start all of a sudden being consumed by suicidal thoughts. A person that's going to work will not start being consumed by suicidal thoughts or have random suicidal thoughts throughout the day. Even when we're struggling in life, we still won't have suicidal thoughts because that's not within our nature to kill ourselves. Like, we are designed to survive. And there are people out there who are vulnerable where they just don't understand that when they receive suicidal thoughts, they're just being attacked by these evil entities. And all the person's got to do is put some energy into it and block out those negative thoughts. And it's also good to tell yourself something positive after you block it. Because if you don't do anything and you're receiving these thoughts, this evil entity is going to realize that your mind is weak. And this evil entity is going to manipulate your mind. And whenever this entity sends you thoughts, that individual receiving it, if the mind is weak, is going to believe it's his or her own thoughts. And this entity will never show itself because as long as it doesn't reveal its voice to skull, that individual receiving these messages would just believe it's him or her thinking about killing him or herself. But as soon as the entity reveals itself through voice to skull, then that individual would know, whoa, someone else is telling me to kill myself, instead of being that person thinking about killing him or herself. You see the difference? So that's why these evil spirits, they prefer not to reveal themselves through voice to skull because they've already been talking to you through voice to skull and you've already been listening to them and you've been thinking that the way that they want you to think and you've been believing, or actually not even believing, you actually don't even realize a lot of those negative thoughts. Well, I would say all negative thoughts are not your thoughts. If the information clicked, what I just told you, once it clicked in your mind, you have gotten so much better against these entities. But if the information I just shared with you have not clicked in your mind yet, it's okay. It might click tomorrow. It might click next month or next year. But once now the information's in your mind, your defense have gotten stronger. You might not understand it, but I understand it. And right now, if you're thinking, if this during this whole video you've been doubting me, you've been going against what I'm saying, you've been playing the devil's advocate, that is because that spirit, that gangstalker next to you, don't like what I'm sharing with you. That's why you're receiving negative thoughts. You see, I do not get money for making these videos. My passion is driven by what I experienced in gang stalking. And I know what I know, and I have a responsibility to share with the community. And if I want to make money off of YouTube, gang stalking is the worst, one of the worst subject to make money on YouTube. That's a fact. If I want to make money on YouTube, I wouldn't pick gang stalking. I'll pick top 10 best places to vacation, top 10 best TV, top 10 best newest gadgets, unboxing the newest Samsung, unboxing the newest Sony, unboxing the newest, most expensive items, or getting a Louis Vuitton bag every week, film it, and return it. There's way better subjects out there to make money. If I want to make money on YouTube, I don't need to start a gang stalking channel to try to get subscribers and make money. No one's paying me. You guys are not paying me. Definitely no government's paying me. But why do you believe it's the government? It's because it's working against you. The spirits are telling you this and you're falling for it. It's okay. I was there. But I'm out of it. And now I'm trying to show you guys the path. Now this next footage, it's by chance that I stumble upon it because anyone that's watching that footage will not realize what they saw or will not even able to identify it. But I can because I've experience in identifying these things. And this is a very important footage. It's a lady at the beach filming, doing a selfie video. And, you know, by the beach is windy. And you can see it, the wind actually pushes that ghost in white, try to push it away because the wind's so strong. And this ghost, you see this ghost actually spread apart, and someone was able to cling onto her head. I'm going to show you. Here we go. You're going to pay attention to the left side of the screen where this ghost was being blown away. It's behind the camera. It's just being blown away. Here we go. Here it comes. Right now. See, notice that grayish tint? Notice the ghost being blown away. You see it spreads apart? Now you see the grayish tint right now, all of a sudden all concentrated on the right side of her face. Look at her face. Notice the right side of her face is more like, has a tint than the other side. Now I'm going to go back one more time. Here we go. Look at that. See, anyone watching this will not even pick that up. But when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. So if you're starting go through a phase where you're having doubts about able to get rid of them, you can definitely get rid of them. And they are in the physical. And let me tell you something. You can catch them. If any TIs out there who's still watching this, if you're like a warrior spirit type of TI, then you need to contact me, because maybe we can start something where the one that have the passion for it can actually go trap and capture these spirits, these evil spirits. Maybe even might start a trend, because these things are in the physical. Now, this footage is here on my property 2 years ago. I have no explanation for it. When I show it to other people, they were just saying, they like to say it's gas. There could be some type of gas forming. And that's exactly what happens when people that are not familiar with paranormal, when they watch paranormal stuff, their mind can't process it, because that takes experience. It takes time. When I saw this, I already know it's paranormal. I already know it's unexplained. But these things are real. And they are next to you. And they are listening to this with you. So, fuck your Gangstalkers. And fuck my Gangstalkers. Here we go. Notice that strange, dense light is spreading out. Look at that. How I believe it actually came together. So it's super concentrated. And it's shape shifting into this, whatever shape this is, just to show the camera. Notice it's in the background. Notice those little things flying around in the front. So that's what can tell me it's in the background. Looks like it's above the Mustang. And look at it. It's literally showing itself. And this is not something random. This is on purpose. Maybe trying to scare me. Maybe trying to show me they're there. It's all about how you want to interpret this information. I mean, I'm still here, so it didn't try to kill me that night. That's for sure. And it's just showing in front of the camera, so there's really no harm there. So it's more likely neutral than a predator. And now it's spreading out and it's disappearing. Just like how I explained how they can come together and they can spread out. So when they come together, it's more dense. When they spread out, it's like you don't even see them. When they spread out, it's like a mist. All right, please share, comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Shimon, signing out.